Chapter 41 SS. A Boss's Boredom. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Lindsay POV, I'm bored. Sitting inside my office daily and having nothing but the paperwork is tedious. Boss, please help me with the paperwork. Jasmine, my number one slave, was working on the desk. She had signed us up with an exciting person a week ago. And I haven't seen him since then. Nene was also gone, and the place had gotten quieter. I heard that Charles had been in the attack in London. I wondered how he was doing. Boss, please help. I can't take it anymore. An idea popped up. Since Charles had a fun power to use, why not make him use it? As long as I reward him, he should agree to it. Jasmine. Call in Charles. But boss. What about these papers? You can do them after you call him. Jasmine looked like she wanted to cry. Getting her phone out, she made a call to Charles. I couldn't help but be excited to see what he could do with his skill. Looking at Jasmine's talk, judging by their conversation, she had. Jasmine managed to get Charles to join in for fun. Boss, he'll arrive anytime soon. Please do most of the paper before he comes. Jasmine was exhausted from the lack of sleep. Since she got Charles to fill in, she could use some rest. Jasmine, go sleep. You look like a witch at the moment. And whose fault is that? She usually wouldn't speak to me like this. But since she is tired, I'll let it slide for now. Jasmine used my bed and rested there. I should do the most of what I can before Charles shows up. Sighing at the abysmal amount of paper, I started to work. After 30 minutes, Charles and Nene showed up. My eyes widened in surprise, seeing how much Charles had grown. Boss. My favorite person greeted me with delight. Nene ran up and embraced me. Her boobs were still prominent, and I could feel her squeezing me. I can see you're doing well. Too well. Of course. He's the one. So, he fits the criteria of what Nene wanted. Looking at him, I could see why. He has been pleasing to the eyes from the day I first saw him. And he would only continue to grow. Envied, I see. Charles, it's been a while. It has been, boss. Now that he is here, we could start the fun. There was a place in mind where I wanted to go with him. Nene. Get the prisoners. A game is about to start. Nene then left, leaving me alone with Charles. Since we are alone, I wonder how he felt during the invasion of London. These past few days must be rough. How did you feel during the attack? First-time experiences are memorable. He did well for someone who knew nothing. But for someone with his abilities, it was horrendous. Charles's skill is one of a kind. It is a power that no man should hold all to himself. If he had been using his brain, he could have instantly destroyed the threat. Today's call was simple. I would call him here for some fun and make him bolder. I understand he had a shitty past, but now he is essential to that world. Charles would need to get used to these situations for future events. I was distressed by what had happened. Even though I have a strong skill, it was useless against people that could easily blow me away. There was a tint of frustration that could be seen. What he said was correct, but he couldn't stop the threat because his thoughts were limiting him. Boss. I got the prisoners. Before I could continue with some big talk, Nene came back. That is fine. He will soon realize his problem. Let's go. We left my room with them and entered my favorite room. We arrived in the control room. Here we can observe the actions of every prisoner. Nene had 10 of these prisoners inside a room full of fun. All of them will be doing a challenge for freedom. The room that they are trapped in is a maze full of traps. This would usually be boring if it's only that. But now that we have Charles, the fun will be at least tripled. Charles, add 10% of your skill on each of these prisoners. In the last test subject, 10% and 20% had died. 20% had died 4 days ago due to a ripple from space. He was unfortunate and got split in half, dying a bloody death. 10% died because he was stabbed to death by an officer. We had freed them as we promised, but he still committed a crime. The officer slipped and stabbed his heart by accident, making him dead. The 10 prisoners here would most likely die. But won't it be entertaining to someone who lives in all of this? Their struggles, pain, and even motivation will be at their peak. That's what makes these games so exciting. Boss. You're making a weird face again. Way to ruin my thoughts. But Nene was right. It was unsightly for me to make these faces. Beginning the game for these prisoners, the cage around them had opened. The prisoners here weren't hand-selected, but people who had offered themselves to join these games. Every one of these prisoners somewhat knew what kind of entertainment I enjoyed. For the price of freedom, they would have to risk themselves for it. With the game starting, every one of these prisoners ran out and tried to escape from the maze they were put at. Charles, why don't we make a bet? A bet. Let's guess how many of these people will survive. Isn't that fun? Hook, line, and sinker. Charles, you're still too green. A game like this will only be my victory. I can't wait to get what I want from you. Sure, let's do it. Chapter 42 SS, Life of a Maid. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rose POV, how long has it been since I worked as a maid? 3 to 4 days. This was an experience that I would have never thought I would do. Panda.N0ve1.com. I was originally the daughter of a wealthy family. I had everything I ever wanted since I was a kid. Life was all sweet and all, but one day an incident happened. My father is a ruthless man that has ruined the lives of many. Of course, I didn't know this since my father was secretive about his work. He can't be a nice person by doing business, and as someone successful as him, he would have bound to make an enemy or two. And because of it, the worst-case scenario happened. My family was wiped out. They weren't killed or assassinated or anything. All the work that my dad had put into his business had gone bankrupt. And the reason for this? It was revenge against my father. The 528 ranker, Julius Fowler, had ruined my father completely. Like my dad, the Fowler family was a business that sold medicine. Investigating what my dad had done to them, I couldn't blame Julius Fowler for what he did. At first, I despised him. He had ruined my family and destroyed all of my happiness. But in the end, I can't blame him entirely. All my anger toward him had been directed at my father, but that was still pointless. He committed suicide after his business died, along with my mother. My brother had left me alone for myself to fend off myself. I hated this. What did I do to deserve this? There were offers for me to become a mistress by these pigs. But that was something I didn't want. Even if I accept these pigs, I doubt I would be safe. Most of these rich people have no real strength. After the death of my family, strength was the only thing that mattered. With enough strength, you can do whatever you want. What is the use of being rich if you can't keep it? Anyways, enough of my tangent. Charles, my current employer, was worth watching. He may be a little young for my taste, but it shouldn't matter in a year or two. Besides that, he was the perfect candidate. With him returning from the attack on London, his strength had drastically increased. He was even higher than Julius on the ranking, which could be called a genius. But how do I get his attention? That cat maid and his fiancée are always with him. There wasn't a moment for me to close in trying my shot. I was confident in my looks, and mine wasn't inferior to those two. But even if I weren't, if there were no opportunity for me to talk to him, it would make this impossible. Should I go into his room naked and seduce him? By the sounds of those two girls moaning during the night, I could say that he was a beast in bed. Rose. Waking up from my thoughts, Elena shouted right in my face. I was taken aback by her loud voice. She was usually meek and quiet like Bella. Sorry, I was thinking about something. Is there something urgent going on? Thinking about Elena's situation, I pitied her. Even my situation, compared to hers, was more manageable, which says a lot. Elena was left out on the street by her ex-husband. Not only was she abused by him daily, but her ex-husband left nothing outside of the street. While she was unlucky, she was also lucky at the same time. Not only did she get away from her ex-husband, but to find a job right away with the resources that she needed. Elena had been eating well, and her body had improved by the day. I wonder what husband would this to her. She was talented in housework. Surely beating your wife wouldn't be an option one should pick. No, but master should be back any time soon. We can't have the house being a mess. I sighed. This house was absurdly large. It was larger than my previous house, and cleaning everything would be hard. Then where is Bella? We need every help we can get. Bella is already cleaning. In the other room. Then I better start. Grabbing a cleaning towel, I started with the desk. We were in one of the living rooms, and I started to clean. The start of the day was rough, but everything was clean by the end of it. Bella, Elena, and I were tired out from all this cleaning. And with our work done, we went to the kitchen. Edna was already baking some snacks. She made us some snacks, rewarding us for our work. Edna, is this allowed? I don't want you to get in trouble. Bella was worried that Edna baked for us. The master of the house hasn't permitted Edna to do so. Everyone here was worried that Edna would get in trouble because of it. Don't worry, dear. The cat girl has already permitted me to do such a thing. But I would have to make some for her. For a maid to think she had that much authority in this house. As expected from one of master's lovers. The position of wanting to become one of his lovers rose after hearing this. Edna. I'm back. The voice of an annoying cat could be heard from across the room. Nene, the master's favorite maid, had arrived and started eating everything. I wonder how she could eat that much without getting fat. Does everything go to her chest? But staring at her chest, I could see why the master liked her so much. Before the cat could eat everything, I took a piece for myself. Edna's food is always delicious. This is one of the perks of living in the place. She is amazing, isn't she? Bella looked at the cat and said with amazement from the looks of her eyes. Yes, she is, but that won't stop me from seducing master. Chapter 43 SS Destined Partner. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Reina POV, turning 18 was my turning point in life. My hatred of my brother at that time was at its peak. My family hosted a party, and the skill I received was the turning point. I had a rare SS rank skill, Bright Path of the Future. Bright Path of the Future. Rank SS, Level 1. This skill allows the users to see some part of the best future for the user. There is a limit of 3 uses per day. During my birthday, I gained a skill that was perfect for me. Deep inside my hatred, I had always wanted a perfect future just for me. This skill would allow me constantly to make the best possible choice. My skill has some limitations, but I would work around them. My meeting with Charles was something that I had never expected. At first, my reaction toward him was only someone with a high ranking. But using my skill on him, I saw countless possibilities around him. One of those bright futures was for me to marry him. I had doubted it when I saw part of this future. But seeing me smile beautifully was something that I wanted. That's why I would do whatever it takes for him to be with me. I may be awkward and even obnoxious toward him. But I will do whatever it takes to stay with him, even if I use his weakness. After some time, the trouble had passed. Not only did he fix my relationship with my brother, but he also allowed me to smile. At first, I had expected to have my brother killed by me. But this future was better than what I could see. The countless possibilities are endless, and with Charles, I will do my best to get those possibilities. Charles. Waking up in his arms made my heart feel warm. This time he was embracing me instead of the stupid cat. I want to play with him, but I can't have that today. The school's re-examination was still happening, and I needed every energy possible. With my skill, there shouldn't be any possibility of me failing this exam. Now that I think about it, his sleeping face is adorable. I haven't seen much of it since I had always woken up last and slept first. Seeing him sleep soundly, I am urged to play with his face. What should I do? There were many options now that he was asleep. Having been around him for these few days, I know that he wasn't much of a man to know what intimacy is. Should I bomb him with my love? He seems like the guy that would need it. Planting a kiss on his lips, his body reacted and twitched a little. I was surprised he hadn't woken up from my kiss, but I was curious how much further I could go since he didn't. But before I could continue, the stupid cat woke up. Seeing what I had been doing, the stupid cat made a sly smile. Turning Charles's body around, she ruined my chances of making out with Charles even more. Looking me in the eyes, the stupid cat then vigorously hugged Charles tightly while giving him a big old kiss. That kiss woke Charles up, and he was surprised by what had happened. I was seething with jealousy, and the stupid cat, who saw this, couldn't help but smirk. "Morning, Master. Couldn't you wake me up with a simple kiss instead?" Charles complained even though he didn't mean it. I wanted his attention instead, so stealing the cat's attention, it was my turn to kiss him on the lips. Reina. Doing the same kiss as the stupid cat, Charles's attention now goes to me. With my kiss, he went along with it now that he was awake. Our kiss was hot and steamy. Momentary had the stupid cat that had to gain his attention was now forgotten. Of course, our moment was interfered with by the stupid cat. "Master. Why play with small tits when you can have these big ones? Stupid cat, with how horny you're, Charles will get tired of you quickly. Keep bragging, you stupid cat. I bet he will get tired of your breasts. Tisk, tsk, tsk. Small tits, with how small you're, that's what you hope will happen. Keep coping. This thieving cat." With how angry I was, I felt my body heating up. I wanted to strangle this annoyance. "Stop. I know you'll want a piece of me. But there is only one of me. I know you both don't get along, but please don't fight in front of me. If you do, I will punish the person who started the fight." End of discussion. Charles took the initiative to stop our verbal fight. I was an inch close to grabbing the stupid cat by her neck. I knew this fight would be ugly since I was much weaker than her. Thinking about this, Charles kissed both of us. "Now, let's get along and have breakfast, okay?" He then got out of bed and changed right in front of us. We had seen his body enough, so the sight of it didn't fluster us. His body was still good as ever. The horny cat was looking at my fiancée like he was a meat rod, only to be used for her alone. I wish I could be as aggressive as her sometimes. Getting up, we started our day. Being with Charles is the best thing that could ever happen to me. Thinking about my past, I don't think I could ever go back to it. That's why I, Reina Burgess, will do whatever it takes to keep us going. I genuinely believe my skill was used for this moment. Charles is my destined partner. I will take some of your burdens away. The days we spent together will always be a happy memory for me. That's why, Charles, I will always love you. Chapter 44 SS. A Saintess Relevation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A/N. This is the last of these side stories. Next chapter will start the second arc. Constance POV, ever since I was an orphan, born without any parentage. The orphan that I was raised with often prayed to God. Back when I was a child, I often told myself, what is God? My caretaker was always unclear in explaining what God was. There were times that I was reprimanded for questioning God itself. And because of it, I started to despise the word, God. What made this so-called God so crucial that everyone in the orphanage revered them as someone worth worshipping? I couldn't wrap my head around it. So I started to question what God is. What are gods? There wasn't a way to define what it was. As I grew older, the word God started to annoy me. This God that everyone here worships does nothing for us. If this so-called God that everyone here liked so much was so powerful, why did the food served we eat taste so horrible? Why did our parents abandon us? This God that everyone here loves so much has done nothing for us. I'm tired of hearing the word God when it is pointless. Time passed, and everyone here who prayed for God didn't bother me anymore. I just stopped caring for it. I mean, what doesn't hurt me doesn't matter. But one day, an incident happened. This so-called God spoke to me. Was this what everyone called a revelation? I couldn't see what this God was, but I felt its power. My tiny worldview had shattered meeting this thing. Why did it call for me? I had nothing to do with it. I was a simple girl that lived in an orphanage. With the change of view, I joined everyone in the orphanage. My relationship with everyone changed for the better once I joined them. Even though I didn't know the God, I joined everyone. I didn't know what this God was, but I wanted to see what lies in the figure of the God. Everything then changed once I hit the age of 18. I found the God I was looking for. My skill, follower of God, was why I'm here today. Follower of God. Rank SSS, level 1. By praying to God, the user can draw some of God's strength. The more you believe in your God, the stronger you get. What is my God? Getting this power, I found what my God is. To me, God is the source of all power. The more I believe in the source of this power, the stronger I get. With this power of mine, I made it to good use. At the start, I did these small tasks of fighting thugs that could be found in the streets. Compared to the current me, all of these tasks seemed pointless. After all, I could blow up a city if I wanted to. But this power of mine grew the more I prayed. This must have proved that what I was praying for was real. To me, God wasn't a person or a figure. It was an endless source of power that everyone could use. The system to which everyone replies uses this power. My power was weak at the start, but my growth was something that no one could be compared to. I grew to the second overall ranking at the age of 20.5. Cyrus, the only one above me, was almost impassable. He has been the first rank for over 100 years. No one knew much about him, but his strength was unfathomable. I'm now 20.6 and was recovering from the injuries that I had gained. Currently, I'm reading the reports of a child named Charles Anderson. His name resonates with me. I don't know why, but that is why I'm investigating him. His reports are intriguing, to say the very least. Looking into this child's past, it wasn't very pleasant. He had already broken his past, which many couldn't dream of. I would say his talent is immeasurable. He is currently in the 395th rank. He is within 2 weeks of receiving his system, and his ranking is insanely high. At this rate, he would catch up to me in a few months if he improves this fast. Was his talent the reason why I felt this feeling? Or was God telling me something? The only way to know what I'm feeling is to meet him. After I recuperate my injuries, I will see him. Lying in a bath full of medicine is refreshing. Not only am I getting cleaned up, but the warm feeling I'm receiving is incomparable to a regular bath. Looking at my chest, I felt the baggage coming from them. I sighed, thinking about how I could get these things to lighten. After finishing using my medical bath, I left the place and cleaned myself up. Getting my robe on, I left and visited the orphanage where I was raised. Constance. Director. The director of the orphanage was inside the orphanage. She is a kind lady who cares for the children in this place. I wish that she was my caretaker during my time. Thank you for all your donations. Everyone here can't thank you enough. As I said, there is no need to thank me. Everyone inside will be our future hope. I'm doing what everyone should do with how much I earn. Even when you say that the amount you give is a lot. Because of you, the children here don't have to worry about shelter and food. Why don't we go in? The children here all want to meet you. They're fond of you. Taking what the director had suggested, we went in. Many children under the age of 18 are here playing. The older kids will take care of the young. At the same time, the younglings will play in peace. Seeing all of this couldn't help but make me smile. I hope all these children will continue to live in peace. Chapter 45 Re-examination results. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Charles POV, the week full of tests in the academy was finished. Today is the day when we can obtain our ranking in class. Nene, Reina, and Montgomery were now heading to class. Not only would everyone receive their rankings, but these 4,000 students would be expelled. Reina and I shouldn't have too many problems. Like me, she also did well in her examinations. I couldn't help but smile thinking about the rewards we would obtain today. With the rankings up, we could also redeem the rewards we gain for our school ranking. Charles, is the word reward that appealing to you? Everyone looking at you couldn't help but blush to see you smile. Did these 2 weeks teach you nothing, Reina? The things I will get wouldn't be too bad with how well I did. Master is right. It wouldn't be surprising if he got first. He is bound to get something good. Especially something from this school. Hearing what Nene said made me smile even more. The word reward is like a drug. I couldn't ever get tired of that word. Charles, stop smiling. You're going to make some girls here attack you. Bantering with Reina and Nene, we arrived at class. The people already seated in class were mostly nervous. Everyone here wanted to be ranked and not expelled. Only the confident people here were looking forward to the result. Mr. Trek, our teacher, walked in without an ounce of expression. I don't know if he was doing this on purpose, but it's working if he intends to make some people nervous. Students. The results are in. Unfortunately, some of you may be expelled. Even if you're expelled, I hope this experience won't hurt you but will make you stronger. As for your results, please come up one by one to get your card. If you don't receive one, that means you're expelled. For someone who tried to encourage the expellee, this method of expelling a student was cruel. Not only would they have the suspense of being expelled, but everyone here could see who would be expelled. I'll be starting from the bottom to the top. Billy Bob. Mr. Trek started to call the first person. The guy who was called sighed in relief, but seeing him first on the list meant he was close to being expelled. Our teacher kept on calling the names one by one. The students who knew their results were terrible and weren't called knew they had failed. Most of them had tears, while the others were disappointed. Reina Burgess. After a while, Reina's name was called. About 90.5% of the students were called, and my name should be up anytime soon. Charles Anderson, please come up. Right after, Reina is me. That would mean Reina had achieved second place in my class. I was confident in being first. This isn't because I was overly confident but because of my overpowered skill. Charles, I would like to congratulate you for achieving first place. I haven't done much as a teacher, but I am proud to have a student like you in my class. I didn't know what to say. Getting complimented like this was rare. I smiled brightly, making the teacher smile back. Mr. Trek, you shouldn't look down on yourself. Your lessons are engaging and easy to learn. What I said was true. Mr. Trek taught me a lot about the world. Even if they weren't in depth, they brought me a new light. Mr. Trek looked like he was about to cry. I didn't want to deal with it, so I returned to my seat with Raina, Nene, and Montgomery. Master. Let me see your card. Small tits wouldn't let me. Stop calling me that in public. Nene's words had publicly humiliated her. She spoke loudly enough for everyone to hear. Calling her small tits had everyone looking at Raina's chest. I had given a silent prayer to Raina. Her anger was justifiable. Nene had taken this a bit too far. Nene, stop provoking her since you started this fight. No snacks for you for the day. Hearing what I said, Nene looked like her life had just ended. A glutton like her losing food meant that it was like a death sentence. Master. Please tell me you're joking. It was a good thing that today's class was short. We were only called in to get our card. The expelled students were too occupied by their emotions to look at Nene scream. Raina, on the other hand, couldn't help but snicker. Stupid cat, you get what you deserve. Small tits. Small tits. Small tits. Nene muttered Raina's nickname like a curse. They were like water and oil. I needed a way for them to get along soon. Anyways, what our teacher gave us was a card with our identity. A plastic card that included our picture and ranking. Out of every student, I was ranked first, and out of that, 76,500 students in this school had gotten their ranking. Being first out of this many talented people meant something. Looking at Raina's card, she was ranked 213. That's pretty good, but since I'm talented, I want her to rise in the ranks. Now that we got our card, we should be able to obtain our rewards. Mr. Trek, do I get any special privilege for being the highest ranking student? Since he should have some idea, I asked the teacher. You get first dibs for anything. Also, the resources you want to buy will be reduced by half the price. There are more, but I'm not the right person to ask. Half price for everything. Well, with the money I got from Tristan, it was time to go on a spending spree. The 50 billion bucks will be put to good use. Going back to Nene and Raina, they were still fighting. Montgomery was spectating, afraid to join the fray. Stop fighting. We'll be going shopping. Shopping. It was time for me to rob a place. Chapter 46 Unsuspecting Request, Part 1, You are listening at novelfull.audio. Half an hour had passed since Raina and I received our rankings. The rumors of me being first had spread throughout the school forums. There were a few people that had blocked my way for a few conversations. But Raina's and Nene's terrifying gazes made everyone move out of the way. The two of them were still angry at one another. Leaving the school building, we had to do a spending spree. Everything on this island is now half price. I will buy everything that this island has to offer. But where should I go first? Raina, Montgomery. Could you lead us to where we could buy artifacts or tools to help us grow in power? They have been in Brave Academy for a while, so they should know a place or two. Young master, are you alright with the prices ranging to millions or possibly billions? Hearing Montgomery says billions made my heart beat. Billions. What on earth would cost billions? This is an investment. Yeah, an investment. I could surely make them back quickly. Surely. Montgomery, take me there. O.org. Gathering my courage, I bravely asked Montgomery to take us to the place. Nene and Raina were shocked to see me go. I'm not a cheapskate. I love money, but spending it is necessary when I have too much. Montgomery then led us the way. On our way there, you could see the status difference here compared to the usual place. Everyone here was higher ranking and had money. With Montgomery leading, we got to the first store pretty quickly. The store we ended up in is a ranking shop. A ranking shop would usually sell items to increase your rank. But at the expense of it, they're very pricey. Before we could enter the store, there were bodyguards outside observing us. I guess they would need a lot of people to secure the store. I would imagine that the valuables here would be guarded tightly. Seeing that we were allowed to go in, the bodyguards blocking the way made room for us. I was a bit nervous for the first time coming in. Master. You don't need to be nervous. It's not like anyone here could stop you from doing whatever you want. What Nene said is correct. But she shouldn't have said that out loud. Reina looked at Nene like she was an idiot. Stupid cat, I get you're trying to help Charles. But your loud mouth is unpleasant. Please don't fight. I will make you sleep together on the couch if you do. If they fought here in public, I would be too embarrassed. What I said had shut them up. For them to do that was the last thing they wanted. Going back to shopping, the store here was vast and beautiful. With how decorated this place was, it wouldn't be surprising if the store spent millions on the aesthetics. We are looking at what could be bought in this place, from strengthening items to artifacts. There are even tokens sold in this store. I might want a token one day. Wouldn't it be cool if I could rule a world? If I ruled over it, I would drain the world for resources. 5 billion. The token for a world invasion costs 5 billion. It's still expensive even with a considerable discount. Charles, I implore you not to buy it. I could see Reina worried about the thought of me buying it. But I wasn't that stupid. There was no benefit for me to do so. I was just shocked by the price. The current me would stand no chance. So I wouldn't bother with it. Besides, I didn't think you would think so low of me to be stupid to buy something this expensive. How could you think that Master is an idiot? I was just worried. Great, now I feel like a dick for saying that. With that said, Reina felt terrible. I wasn't good with this sappy stuff, but I would do my best to make it up to her. I then kissed Reina on the lips. She was surprised but welcomed it greatly. Nene was fuming while Montajri had a sigh of relief. He realized I felt bad and was terrible at cheering someone up. Master. That's not fair. With a kiss to Reina, I also gave one to Nene. Keeping these girls in line is mentally draining. And with that settled, we went for other things to buy. Next is an alley full of drugs, medicine, and training potions. The quality of these things is one of the best I have seen. Even if they were expensive, I was willing to pay for them. I was now rich enough to provide for both Nene and Reina. I couldn't be with them every second unless my skill allowed me to observe them from around the globe. They're not 100% safe. Let's buy these. Master. Do you need that much? I'm not only buying it for myself, but for the both of you as well. They couldn't believe their eyes, hearing what I had said. The two of them had looked at one another. Nene put her hand on my forehead, checking if I was okay. Oi. I'm not sick. I can't have you guys die when I'm not around. Master. I didn't know you cared so much for me. Nene outright hugged me, making it hard for me to move. Reina joined in, not wanting to lose. Thinking about it, these two are easily influenced by me. I sigh and let them do their thing. What I bought were medicines that would strengthen the body's constitution. Using them as materials for bathing would do wonders for the three of us. Buying a month's worth of them already costs 500 million. We've only been here for a few minutes, and a lot was already spent. I hope my heart won't crack from all this shopping. With the first few things bought, I continued onward. Chapter 47 Unsuspecting Request, Part 2, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Buying some medical products, the next thing we bought was an artifact that made liquidized mana. This is an investment that must be made. The artifact was simple to use. If you let it stay in a place filled with mana, the artifact would gather that mana and make it drinkable. Once you drink the liquidized mana, you will be allowed to absorb it. Drinking mana gave me a sense of satisfaction. Master, are you sure you want this? I'm sure. Even if it crushes a part of my heart. I love the feeling of drinking mana. It does give a warm feeling. I could see why you like it. Charles. Why don't you buy this? It's costly, but for you, it's a treasure. A skill leveling capsule. Are these things common? This is the third one that I have seen. But is Reina even allowed to pick it up? How much does it cost? 10 billion. Let's look at the bright side. Everything here would be 50% off. I'll earn them back. Yeah. Think positive. Let's check out. I don't have the heart to buy any more. Master. Let's go out and eat. Okay, envy with me having to pick out everything. We went to the counter to buy everything. The total cost should be 8.25 B. To think the top student of the academy would show up to my store. Charles Anderson, am I correct? Why is he asking me that? My name is literally on the card. But when he said this was his store, does that mean he's the owner of this place? Yes, I'm. Do you want something from me? The man in front of me was a man in his 40s. He is pitiful for a man. Tower at the height of 4 feet 5 inches, one would barely notice him if he wasn't standing on a stool. Where are my manners? I'm Kurt Alexander, the owner of this fine establishment. I want to propose a deal. A deal? Yes, a deal. What kind? I'll give you everything you want to buy for free, and I will add this. The owner of this store was holding a book. What will a book do for me? But what he was making it out to be sounded precious. I then looked at the reactions of Nene, Reina, and Montgomery. I could see all of them shocked. So it was something good, but what is it? This is a grimoire, a book that'll allow you to learn a random skill. This is my most priceless possession. Master. The deal must be hard if he's willing to give away a grimoire. What Nene said is correct if he's willing to give something like that away for a deal. It must be something troublesome. Don't be so quick to reject the proposal. It's been a goal of mine forever. For me, it's something that I can dream of, but for you, it could easily be achieved. Why don't we both talk in the back of the room? Just us two. If you don't want to accept it, I will leave it at that. I'm not foolish enough to mess with you. He sounds so suspicious. But I then looked at Reina, signaling her to use her skill. Reina then looked at me and nodded heavily. Fine, I will hear what you have to say. With Reina's insurance, Kurt wouldn't do anything to harm me. So, it does look like he only wants to perform a deal. Very well. Follow me. Kurt smiled hopingly, seeing that I would hear him out. Following Kurt to the back room, we will go into the deal's full details. So, what deal are we going to make? Before we do that, I want to make sure that nothing is leaked. Kurt put a geas in front of me. Reading its content, there wasn't much written. He had only wanted me to keep silent about this meeting. Since it wasn't harmful, I didn't mind. Before I talk about the deal, how well do you know the people in the top 10 in the overall ranking list? I don't have any direct contact with them. But I saw the first and second place. I see. That's good. And why would that be good? He made it sound like he didn't want me to be friends with them. Does he have some grudge against them? Does the deal have anything to do with them? Yes, it does. I want you to kill the 8th ranker. Ricardo Mullen. So, for the things you'll give, you want me to kill the 8th ranked. Why does everyone here think that I'm just a mass murderer? First Reina and now this guy. Why me? Many people would take this offer. Besides, you need to add more if you want me to accept it. To answer your question, you have the talent. And you seem like the guy who likes money. What he was saying wasn't wrong. But do I have that aura around me? If it gives me money, I don't think I would care. You want me to add more? I'll do so once you kill him. Stingy. Someone within the top 10 is a valuable person in this world. This would cause a big wave if I were caught doing so. Fine, I will add a year's worth of medical bathing materials if you accept my terms. Is there a time limit? That guy must have angered you a lot if you're willing to offer so much to kill him. Hearing what I said, Kurt was silent. Thinking about the man Ricardo, Kurt had a livid expression once thinking about him. I'll give you 5 years. If you can't kill him within 5 years, then everything I gave must be back double the price. And once you get him killed, I will offer something similar to the price of the grimoire. Then I'll accept. The reward that I'll earn will give me a lot. I don't have any opinion on the man named Ricardo, so killing him wouldn't make me feel bad. With power, this world only allows the strong to survive. So Ricardo, don't feel bad if I killed you for billions. Chapter 48 Unsuspecting Request, Part 3, You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kurt, writing the contract for both of us, had it ready. The terms were pretty straightforward. Kurt here would invest in me now. Within the 5-year time frame, I would have to kill the man known as Ricardo Mullen. And once I kill the man, Kurt here would give me something equal to the value of the grimoire. If I don't kill Ricardo Mullen within 5 years, I will have to pay Kurt back double the price of the investment he made. And for the punishment of not killing, paying back will have my heart crushed. The failure of this job was horrifying, but making that amount or killing Ricardo wouldn't be that hard. I signed it. Now give me the grimoire and the medical supplies. Here, take it. The owner had handed me the things needed. He didn't hesitate since he would get something out of this either way. Aren't you even curious about why I want him dead? Honestly, no. That's quite frank of you. But could you let me tell you the story? I haven't spoken about it to anyone. I want to get it out of the way. Great, now he's using me as a therapy session. He better pay me more for this. I wasn't the type of person to be consulted. I'll pay you more. Reading my mind, I let him do the talking. Kurt POV, it all started 20 years ago. In those 20 years, I haven't forgotten my hatred toward him. I remembered the incident like it was yesterday. Both Ricardo and I were friends. We have been close since childhood. You might as well call us brothers at one point. Those memories would be something that I would cherish if that brother of mine hadn't betrayed me. Charles looked at me without any ounce of emotion. But still, I continued the story. Even after that fucker Ricardo had talent, we were still close. I wasn't talented in the ranking board, but I had a good sense of money. Using his talent matched with mine, we would get money at an incredible rate. I used some money for his growth while he gathered some materials for me to sell. We were like 2 peas in a pod. Everything we did benefited each other. But why did he do this to me? My brother, who I trusted the most, betrayed me. You don't have to keep going if you don't want to. Charles looked at me without any care. What a heartless bastard. Even if it hurts me to remember this, it was for the better. One day, I found the love of my life. Don't tell me Ricardo stole your lover. This story is pretty cliché. I was rudely interrupted by the child who I wanted to make a deal with. My face flushed in anger hearing him say that. Fortunately, that wasn't what had happened. I won't have the courage to tell an embarrassing story like that. No. That fucker Ricardo killed her. He did it cold-heartedly, knowing that I loved her. I yelled it out, spoiling the whole story. Why did that fucker have to kill her? She did nothing wrong. That fucker had to kill her just because someone offered him some cash. Now I'm going to get that fucker killed by cash itself. You got the whole story. He is the same person as you. He never cared about our relationship. He only wanted my talent for business. Now that I think about it, they're similar. Fuck. Just thinking about him pisses me off. And I'm going to lose some money because of this. You don't have to feel bad for killing him. I doubt you do. But if you did, kill that bastard in the worst possible way. This was my only goal in life. My business, I don't care for myself anymore. The only reason for me to live is to have that man burnt. Charles POV, well, nice doing business with you. Later. Now that was something. So what Kurt here wants is revenge. Knowing this would change nothing. Getting the stuff, I left the room. All of them were waiting for me outside the room. Were they trying to eavesdrop? Kurt was staying in his room, so he shouldn't know. Let's leave. With the deal made, there was no reason to stay anymore. Nene was curious about the deal, while Reyna looked like she already knew what it was. Leaving the place, I made money without even trying. There were still free resources that could be earned from our school. At the rate I'm earning, I will suck everyone dry. Master. What's the deal? We couldn't listen. The owner wants me to kill a man named Ricardo Mullen. The 8th. Ranked in the overall ranking board. Did you accept? I took out the grimoire and showed it to them for a split second. Nene and the rest had confirmed that I had accepted it. Young master. I know this is late to say, but with your status accepting jobs like these would only hurt you in the long run. Montgomery, Reyna's aide, was worried. Not in the sense of my danger but my reputation. I told myself I didn't care what people thought of me, but now that I have these two, it would be harder not to care. Then I will make this the last one. Unless the Interdimensional Union Committee needs help urgently. What does the Interdimensional Union Committee have to do with this? I'm working for them. This news comes as a surprise for both of them. Reyna and Montgomery don't know I have any involvement with them. Is that so? You might be in luck then. I was confused about why Montgomery had said this. Nene then had a realization of what Montgomery had said. Master, I forgot. There is good news. Boss said you will be going to a party in a different world. And you tell me this now. Ehe. Chapter 49 Grimoires. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There is a party that I'm supposed to attend. And apparently, Nene forgot to inform me about it. But what made it so good was that Montgomery said it was good luck. Montgomery, what do you mean by good luck? Instead of asking Nene, Montgomery seemed more informed. Nene got flustered hearing me ask Montgomery instead. I don't know much about it, but I heard that there would be a party from the Interdimensional Union Committee every year. At that party, you will be seeing people from other worlds. I heard contests would happen, and since you like prizes, you could earn them. And those prizes will be priceless for someone in our world. Master. If you're going, it will be at the start of next month. Isn't that in 4 days? With my all-purpose suit, I could change it for the occasion. Talking about the party, I went straight home. Welcome back, Master. Rose, a maid of mine, welcomed me back. I noticed that she had been trying to get closer to me. But for some reason, she hesitates each time she makes her move. Thank you for all the hard work you do. Rose smiled brightly, seeing me compliment her on her work. Nene didn't seem to care while Reyna stared at her. Montgomery went to the garden to have a chat with Aled. Montgomery and Aled have been getting along very well. I will be going to my room. If you need anything, do ask. I left the living room to go to my room. Nene and Reyna followed along. I had a grimoire and a skill. Leveling capsule to use. There was also the drinkable mana that I needed to set up. Since the skill capsule was mine, I swallowed the capsule using the drinkable mana. Skill level up, only skill for this is Target of Misfortune. Target of Misfortune is now at the 4th level, Target of Misfortune. Rank EX, level 4, this allows the skill to cause misfortune upon the desired user. It can't be removed unless the caster allows it to do so. It could only be used if the target is within 50 kilometers of you. The upgrade for my skill had no additional effect. Only the distances had increased. But 10 times the last distance was still impressive. This skill allows me to cover 1/10 of the island. Once I upgrade this skill to the 5th level, I can cover everything. My skill was still in the 1st rank. But my ranking could still increase from 395 to 290. With my growing fast, people would think I'm a cheater. I then took out the grimoire. I have heard of them. They allow you to get a skill depending on the book's condition. While I had never seen one until now, everyone could tell that a grimoire would be a priceless treasure. Master. Good luck to Charles, I pray that you'll get something good. I nodded, thanking both of them for their prayers. Opening the grimoire, a text was shown. Think about the power you want the most. Whether it's a powerful attack or a defensive move. Then manifest the thought using your mana and pour it on the grimoire. What kind of power do I want? If I think about it clearly, I need a technique that can protect me. I want something that would make me untouchable. Knowing what skill I wanted, I let out some mana and gave it to the grimoire. Skill received, Intangible. Rank S, level 1, once activating this skill, your body will be untouchable. Requires mana to be active. The grimoire in my hand had disappeared. Now that I had gained a skill that would help me live longer, any attempts of me being hit would be close to null. Master. What skill did you get? Show me. Nene was curious, so she ran up to me, prompting me to tell her what it was. Reina was also curious. She could have used her skill to see what skill I got, but where would the fun be if she did that? Give me a hug. Doing what I said, Nene spread her arms wide and tried to hold me. The moment she tried to touch me, she slipped past my body and almost tumbled. Reina chuckled at Nene's surprise. The limit time of my skill is 5 seconds. It drained too much of my mana. If I wanted to sustain that skill, I would need more mana. But looking at what happened to Nene, I got what I wanted. Overall, the grimoire I used was a success. Master. That's so cool. Nene went for a tackle this time. Since the tackle was harmless, I let her hit me. I felt drained by using my skill. With Nene tackling me, she pushed us to the bed. Why didn't you use your skill? It's too draining. I'll use it when it is necessary. Draining. Nene's lips curled into a smile. I could see where this was going. But I'm not in the mood yet. There is still the bath that I got to take. Master. Why don't I drain you right now? Reina stood behind Nene and grabbed her tail. Naya. Is sex all you think of? Look at Charles. He's not in the mood. Why don't we make a medical bath? The store owner gave me a year's worth of supplies. It would be a waste not to use them. The year's worth of supplies must have cost billions. I have won out by going to that store. But this may be the last time for me to do something like this. Master, are you sure you want to let us use it? It's more effective for you to use it alone. I don't mind. I'm growing at an incredible rate. And I'm going to do so more at the party. This much isn't a big deal. Both Nene and Reina smiled. They each grabbed a side of my arm and dragged me to the bath. Chapter 51st Monthly Gift. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 3 days had passed, and tomorrow was the party. I asked if Reina could join, but she was denied since she wasn't part of the organization. Nene and I were now inside the IUC headquarters. Lindsay told us to stay here for the night, so we could get everything prepared. Charles. Since your maid didn't tell you much about the party, let me explain it. The two of us were in Lindsay's office. We had arrived 30 minutes ago, and it was now late at night. There were 2 hours left before midnight hit. And that's when we get our monthly reward. But boss. I have never been there. I don't know the details very well. That's because you slept in. Nene looked away, unable to look Lindsay in the eye. Lindsay sighed and continued to speak. The party will start first thing during the afternoon, and many talents will be there. Not only will there be talents, but also people with some influence within the organization. At the party, we will be playing some games. Since you're representing me, you better crush everyone. Especially that bitch Amanda. If you crush her representative, I will reward you handsomely. From the way Lisney talked. She must dislike the person named Amanda. I wonder what she did to Lindsay for wanting to crush her. What are these games that you keep mentioning? You'll be competing with the talents coming to the party. I don't know precisely what competition you will be doing, but expect some fighting. With your current capabilities, you shouldn't have it too hard. But be wary of those people from the third rank world and above. Our organization has people from the 5th rank. This was my first time hearing it. Unless I want to win, I have to make sure to kill them. But this is a party. I doubt I could get away scot-free if I did that. What if my skill accidentally kills someone? That would be troubling. You're 213th ranked overall. I doubt you would need to go so far to use your skill. Here, take this. This is a 3rd rank physique capsule. You won your bet, and here it is. Ah, that's right. Lindsay and I made a bet on a day when she called me. She was bored and made a dungeon/maze for the prisoners. I had won a bet, and she got me a 3rd rank physique capsule. I had already used one from Reina's mom. So the second one shouldn't be as tough as the first one. I would use that now if I were you. You could never be too prepared. Is there a place where I could use this? Follow your maid. She knows the place. Thanks, boss. See you in a few hours. With that said, Nene and I left the room. I don't know where we were going, but I trusted Nene enough for her to lead the way. Nene. Where are you going? We're going to a private bath. Arriving, Nene swiped a card at the door, and it opened. The place was clean, and I used the shower room before going in. Now that I was in the bath, I took the capsule and let the item do its thing. Monthly received updated, reward. Random monster egg. Nene and I looked at one another. We both have received our monthly gift. My gift, I don't know how I feel about it. Nene, what did you get? The cat girl is now in the 794 rank in the overall ranking. So what she got should be decent. I got this. What about you, Master? What Nene got was a giant golden hammer. She got an artifact for a weapon for her monthly reward. The hammer was even larger than her body. I got a random monster egg. Then getting the egg out, a giant egg the size of my head popped into my hands. What am I supposed to do with this thing? Monster egg. Could I touch it? Sure. I handed the egg to Nene. Do I sell it? Or should I raise it? I don't have a clue about how I should raise an animal. Nene, what should I do with it? You're not going to raise it. Nene looked surprised. Even her playful voice disappeared. She looks like she wants to keep it. Should I? I don't have a clue on how I could raise it. Are you sure? Tamed monsters are popular. They could be monsters from the 4th or 5th rank if you're lucky. Then do you want it? You'll be a better person to take care of it better than me. Even if Nene is clumsy and acts like a child. She knows how to take care of things better than me. Could I? Nene looked excited once I offered her to have the egg, and she happily accepted it. The effects of the capsule were still in progress, my body was aching, but it was something I could easily shake off. Another hour had passed, and the effectiveness was entirely worn off. This time the body strengthening lasted for 3 hours. Master. Did you finish? Nene, seeing that I was now fully relaxed, asked. I nodded, confirming the process was done and lay on the water. Let's leave. I need all the rest I need. Okay. After finishing washing, I left the bathroom along with Nene. The egg was still in Nene's arms, and she looked carefully at it. It brought a small smile to my heart to see how Nene could be like that. This isn't something that I would usually see. Nene then brought us to a room big enough for the two of us to sleep in. I then stripped and lay on the bed. I'll get something for the egg to lay down on. Before Nene went to bed with me, she left the room to get the monster egg comfy. I wonder what Nene would get from the egg. But that's for another time.